All right, let's talk business. When you think about a huge company, who do you picture running the show? The CEO in the corner office? Well, you might be surprised. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at who really runs a business. And trust me, it's a way bigger cast of characters than you probably think. So you've probably heard this a million times, right? A business is just about making a profit. That's it. The bottom line is king. But is it really that simple? What if I told you that's not the whole story? Not even close. Yeah, not if it wants to actually survive. See, a business that's only focused on profit, it's like a rocket ship with no steering. It's going to go fast, for sure, but it's heading straight for a crash. The real story is so much more complicated, and honestly, a lot more interesting. Okay, so the key to unlocking this whole thing is one single word: stakeholder. And no, this isn't just a fancy term for the owners. It's this huge, interconnected web of people, of groups, who are all affected by what a business does. You can think of the business as a stage, and all these stakeholders, they're the cast of characters. So let's meet them. So, first up, let's start with the people on the inside. You know, the ones at the absolute heart of the operation. In our little play, these are the internal stakeholders, the folks inside the building who are making it all happen day in and day out. First, you've got the owners and shareholders. I mean, these are the people who put their own money on the line to get this whole thing off the ground. They took a huge risk, right? So naturally, their focus is financial. They want to see that investment grow. They expect good returns, maybe some dividends. They're the financial backbone. Then you've got the managers. These are the captains, the ones steering the ship every single day. Their world revolves around hitting targets, making sure everything is running smoothly, and getting their teams what they need. And, for them, success isn't just about the company. It's about their own career, their own progress. And of course, we can't forget the engine room, the employees. These are the people on the front lines, the ones actually building the product, delivering the service. What do they want? Well, it's pretty fundamental, right? A fair wage, some job security, a decent place to work. Simple as that. But without them, that whole ship, it just doesn't move. It grinds to a complete halt. Okay, but the story definitely doesn't stop at the company's front door. Nope. A business does not exist in a vacuum. Every single thing it does sends these ripples out into the wider world. So now let's talk about the world on the outside and meet the rest of our cast, the external stakeholders. So who's the most obvious one out here? The customers, of course. And man, do they hold a ton of power. Think about it. They want quality stuff at a fair price, and they expect good service. If they don't get it, they're gone. And when they walk, the money walks with them. Customer satisfaction is literally the lifeblood of the company. All right, next up, suppliers. These are the folks who provide everything the business needs to, well, do business. We're talking raw materials, services, you name it. And this is a total two-way street. The company needs reliable suppliers, and the suppliers need the company to keep ordering and, crucially, to pay their bills on time. It has to be a real partnership to work. Then you've got the government. Think of them as the referee of the game. They set the rules. They want businesses to pay taxes, obviously, and to follow all the laws. And hey, if they create some jobs along the way, that's a huge plus for the economy. But make no mistake, they hold the power to blow the whistle and shut things down if you don't play by their rules. And last but definitely not least, we have the local community. Literally, the neighbors, the people who live right there. They're directly impacted by the company's presence. Sure, they might love the jobs it creates, but they also expect it to be a good neighbor. That means not too much noise, not too much pollution, not jamming up the roads. If a company gets on the wrong side of its community, well, that can lead to some serious problems. Okay, so we've met the whole cast, right? Everyone has their own script, their own motivation. But what happens when those motivations clash? What happens when what one group wants is the complete opposite of what another group wants? Well, this is where the drama really begins. Here's a classic conflict for you, a real tug of war. The owners, they want to keep costs low to boost profits. Makes sense. But the employees, they want higher pay and better benefits. I mean, that's why they're there. It's the same pot of money, and you've got two groups pulling it in completely opposite directions. And you see this exact same tension all up and down the supply chain. Your customers, they always not lower prices, always. But your suppliers, they need to charge a fair price to make a living themselves. And where's the business? Stuck smack dab in the middle, trying to figure out a price that doesn't take everybody off. Or how about this one? A company wants to expand, maybe build a bigger factory, run operations 24/7. From their perspective, this is great. More growth, more jobs, but for the people living next door, that could mean nonstop noise, trucks at all hours, and just more congestion. See? One person's progress is another person's nightmare. So with all these competing interests, how on earth does a business manage? How does it not just implode? Well, it all comes down to one thing, a great balancing act. And let me tell you, getting this right isn't just about dodging bullets. It's actually the secret to building a stronger, more successful company in the long run. Because when a company actually pulls this off, the benefits are massive. You're talking about a better reputation, more trust. You avoid messy, expensive fights like lawsuits or strikes. Your decision-making gets way better because you're seeing the full picture. Ultimately, you're building a business for the long haul, not just for a quick win. And let's be clear, this isn't about being fluffy or nice. It's about being smart. Which brings us to the big final question, doesn't it? If all these voices matter, who do you listen to the most? The investor who funds the whole thing? The employee who makes it all happen? The customer who pays the bills? Or the community that gives you a place to operate? There is no easy answer. And figuring that out, well, that's the real challenge and the true art of running a business today.